Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers. I need your help to do that. So you know what to do. Take a moment, subscribe, like, share, and comment. I'll give you a moment to do that. All right, we're going to say a short prayer. Our Heavenly Father, creator of all things seen and unseen, allow my words to reach the minds and the hearts of those who need to hear it and feel it. May this word touch their lives, help them to get on a path of peace, harmony, capability, rooted in compassion, honesty, and respect for themselves and others. I thank you for my voice, Lord. May you watch over and protect those who are doing something different in their lives. Someone who wants to change, make a difference, to turn from evil, to get to know you even for a moment. May you bless this reading, this channeled message, this guidance, and secure it in your mighty name, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Amen. So guys, cat's over here chilling. So we're doing something a little different today. You know, as someone who comes from a lot of hard roads, a lot of hard lessons, and really starting off at the bottom in life. And I say bottom, guys, because you get to that point where you feel like you have nothing left and you have to find a better way. You know, everything else around you felt like it's given up on you. And you start feeling like you've given up on yourself, right? I know you felt that. I know you felt that way before. And you just, I need a direction, a guidepost, something to start a foundation on. I talk about a lot of that on this channel. I talk a lot about foundation because the stuff we remembered, the stuff we grew up on, the people we knew, and we come to find out they've been working against us for the longest. That's a lot to take in. So you realize you can't trust these people no more, not just for your safety, but for your future. So many of us see, I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. Okay, that's part of who I am. That's part of my story. And I haven't used or drank in quite a long time now, quite a long time. But there was a point where I had to give up in trusting the worldly things, and I had to get real with myself, and I had to start from within. I had to start from within and get to know myself and admit some harsh things about myself, and that I don't have this in this world, that I didn't have all the answers, and I needed help. I had to start somewhere, and I turned to my brothers and sisters in AA. So we're going to read the 12 steps and 12 traditions. And I don't care if you've never been to AA before. It's the behavior we projected into the world, that we brought into this world and we unleashed into this world. You know, we can't always blame everybody else about our lives. We can't always, because we did play a part. It's how we learned. So this is we're going to read the first step, guys. And this is applicable to everybody. And don't trigger yourself into being self-loathing. Don't do that. Sometimes we want to do that because we are our own worst critics. We are our own worst enemy. And just know that was a moment in your life. That was just a moment in your life. We all exhibit behaviors. It could be physical sex and stuff like that. That could be part of our behaviors. We were overly sexual, right? We gambled. We like to hurt people's feelings to see how they reacted. A lot of narcissists do that. I'm just trying to give you examples of other behaviors than alcohol and drugs. Everybody has a behavior. Everybody has an addiction of some sort. So I want to read this to you guys, and please be receptive to it. Okay. Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Who comes to admit complete defeat, admission of powerlessness at the first step in liberation. Relation of humility to sobriety, mental obsession plus physical allergy. Why must every AA hit bottom, right? We hit bottom, right? When we realized that even though everybody around us was evil, you could be the empath in a room full of narcissists, right? Just give you an example. You could be that way. And you realize you can't be around them. You're powerless to your vicinity, right? And that you don't always control what happened in your life, and you have to start fresh, and you have to admit that you're powerless to certain things in order for you to get back up. You understand that? Like in order, because in my road in recovery over everything, I had to start trusting myself. And I couldn't trust myself if I was an addict, an alcoholic, because these people who were trying to keep me in this, trying to triangulate me, trying to keep me, gang stalk me, track me, all these different things. I would go back to the dope man, and now they'd have to ask the dope man, has he been by? Right? Or they'd hang around the neighborhood. I wouldn't even know the person, but the person they set in to set me up, they were a drug dealer, and they'd give me really good prices. And if I didn't have any, they made sure I got high because they needed to keep me in their clutches. That's why I always tell everybody who's trying to get out of a narcissistic relationship, off of homelessness, all these, you got to start off and quit the drugs, or people will be able to manipulate you. It keeps you weak. It keeps your spirit weak. You're unable to grow. You dwarf yourself, right? And I promise you, you quit the drugs, you quit the alcohol, the paranoia will quit, the intrusive thoughts will quit, and you can start trusting yourself with some money. Things like that, guys. I'm just trying to bring you a broad array of tools for your toolbox, because I can't be there to fight your battles for you, but I can equip you to see the warning signs, right? And to admit that the people around you, it's insidious to know that the devil took a back seat in our family, and when he needed to pounce, he used them, and that's evil, right? See, we had to admit that we were powerless over our lives at that point, because in order to fully recover from the amount of trauma that you went through, you have to cut everybody out of your life. When you have a mission in life that God has given you, the creator of all things has given you a purpose in this life, the devil will do its best to tear that down. He'll start at the very base, the very foundation that you know, your family, your loved ones, your girlfriend, the person you lay down at night with. He'll use them too. As long as they're in dense negative energy, as long as you know that's what they're about and they're not going to change, the devil will always appear in your life. He will always appear in your life. And you can fool yourself into believing that the devil doesn't exist. Oh, he exists, making the rounds within your family, your loved ones, and attacking your very foundation. So I'm trying to help you build a new foundation. That's what I'm truly trying to do with you right now. Okay, so we're going to move on, guys. I know I've given you a lot already, but to admit you're powerless over drugs and alcohol, that's a first start, guys, because we are truly powerless sometimes to drugs and alcohol, because we've been handed copious amounts to keep us enslaved. Understand? I know you do, my friend. I know you do. So we're going to move on to Prayer and Promises for Wisdom. Great book. It has all the great quotes from the Bible. So we're going to read about integrity today. This is from Proverbs 10:9. The honest person will live in safety, but the dishonest will be caught. You understand that? And that's where the people who attacked you the most that's happening in their life right now. You might say, I'm lucky I got out in the nick of time. No, it's that you were honest with yourself, and you realized you couldn't change these people around you. You couldn't change the format, the stage. You just couldn't save them. You had to get honest with yourself for safety, like it says. The honest will live in safety. The dishonest will be caught. And that's so true. Give it time. I kid you not, that what was done in the dark to you is coming to the light. This energy takes time to work out. It takes time to come to an end. That's when your cycle ends. And it might take a while, guys, but you'll see it. You'll be able to breathe easier, think easier. You won't be as wore out. You'll be able to actually go out and help others. Because, guys, It's been one of my greatest gifts that have been given to me is being here right now. Because the pain I went through, the pain that you went through, God saw it. He's answering your prayers right now by putting me in this right here, right now in front of you, saying, I've been there. And I promised myself I had a platform. I would do my best to reach out to others, to ease their pain, to prevent their pain, and to prepare them to fight against the principalities and the people of darkness. I promised God I would do that. When I was homeless, walking around the Key Arena, or Pledge Arena, hours in the morning, man, looking for cigarette butts, you know what I mean? I was homeless, had nothing, no coffee, no cigarettes, no nothing. I just talked to God, right? Prepare myself. I told God, I promised him I would be there for other people, to bring them out of darkness, because there are good people that are in the midst of darkness, because they've been used, they've been lied to, they've been manipulated, they have been manipulated so hard that they feel worthless, and then the devil comes in and uses them as their tool, and they think that's the only way they can receive anything of value, because they don't feel valuable. You get what I'm saying? So those walks, I promised God, if I had a platform, I would do that. And here I am every day doing this for you. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much. I have a quote I came up with. I have a quote I want you to be receptive to this as well. Think about this, guys. Self-love means you're capable of loving more than just yourself. Loving self is loving God, and that opens the doors to others knowing God through you. Powerful, huh? Powerful. The things I've been through, the things you've been through, and you see all these other people go through. No one can tell me for a second God doesn't exist. No one can tell me God doesn't exist. I've talked to God. You've talked to God. You've seen God work through other people. You know God exists. Many of these people who did all these evil things to you, they didn't want to believe God exists because they were acting as if they were God with impunity. Thinking God doesn't see. They think God is just this word that people say and as an idol, you know. That's all they think. It holds no weight, no repercussions. They think not. No, it holds repercussions. I promise you that. Jesus was real. Jesus was God in human form. He died upon a cross for us sinners so that we can have a connection to God through him. See, it was part of the process for us to, it's the identity, see, for us to believe that God, that we are worthy of that connection, is to clear out our debt. You understand? He rose again 3 days. He showed up in body 3 days later. He rose from the grave 3 days later. It's in the Bible. I'm not gonna pull that out, but it's in the Bible, guys. He didn't show up to the world, but he showed up. I want you to think about this, guys. I want you to think about this. The light and the dark work together unknowingly. It's the energies exchanged. Think of it this, guys. Think of it this way. You have a puzzle. You open up a 1,000-piece puzzle. You shake it out onto the table. It's not all together. It's all scattered. It's all separate, right? It's chaotic, right? You can't make anything out. You can look at the picture, but you can't make it out until you start putting it together, right? And they're all different. They're all different sizes, different, you really have to take your time. You have to do the edges first, right? Then you start seeing, you start piecing it all together. And you saw how every last piece worked together. And they didn't know, they were total opposites. Think about that, guys. You are part of the puzzle. Everybody on planet Earth is part of this grand design, this grand puzzle. And we work against each other. You try to get those pieces, you try fitting them together, oh, I swear this is one, but it's just off a little bit. They're working, you want them to fit together, they just don't. Light in the dark. But if you have patience, start doing it outside, start filling in, you'll find out that they work together in the end. Get it? I know you do. So, guys, I know that was a lot to take on today, guys, but I really want to give you a special video today. I really want to give you a special video because you deserve it. You're special. The world deserves you. And it's a hard road to go from the devastation, the bridges that have been burned that you didn't burn. It's like walking through the valley of death and you see these birds, geesing off these different bodies and stuff, but you have to keep going. You have to keep going because you have a destination that's bigger than you. You have a voice far off in the distance. You got to get to it. And you know that. And here's the devil, Satan, and all his disciples putting down little roadblocks. You can't tell people because then they think you're crazy. So you have to keep it to yourself. There's no one you can attune to that understands you and the scars that you wear on the inside every day, fearful for your life, afraid to go home, so you stay homeless, stuff like that. I mean, our stories are so diverse, but they have the same narrative. You just want to see happiness throughout the world, and the devil wants to do its worst to make sure happiness never happens. But see, you're special, my friend. That's why the devil took an interest in you. He saw your light. He saw the dark places you were lighting up, the rooms that were so dark that you were the light that everybody needed to resuscitate them. You understand that? That's what I'm about. I'm not bringing back minds that were tortured, imprisoned, felt worthless, had no direction at all, and no one to understand them. See, that's why God set me in. I've been through it, guys. I can go on for days. My story, guys. I can go on for days, but it'd take too long. And I can tell you right now, guys, that don't give up. Get closer to God. Turn on The Chosen. I promise you. Watch the first episode. You'll get to know who Jesus was a little bit more. You don't have to pick up a Bible to watch The Chosen, but I would like for you to pick up a Bible. Read a couple passages. It's one of the greatest love stories ever. The love that God has for this world. There's some ups and downs. There's some hard love God handed out and stuff like that. But I thank you for your time, guys. And I'm gonna pull one charm here. I'm gonna read it, and it's gonna be about someone who's watching right now. Watch. I'm gonna read it. Actually, I pulled two, guys. We have a 7, and we have a key. Someone lost a family member about 7 years ago, and it's been hard because it was the only one that you really trusted. You lost someone very, very close to you. It was a grandma. I want to say a mom or a grandma. You lost them 7 years ago, and you felt so distant from everybody else, like no one understands you. You took the loss very. You got into your addictions. You got into some very dark habits. Anything to fill that hole in your heart, and you haven't surrendered that yet. You feel like that pain's the only thing that's keeping you going. And I want you to know that your life, it has meaning. When it's our time to go, it's our time to go. I don't know if she died. I'm feeling it was like cancer or something, but we're here for a moment on earth. That's why it's so important to treat others with kindness and to love yourself. Because I promise you, when you love yourself and you change your ways, that's what you project. You get that love back. That's for someone. 7 years ago, you lost someone very special to you. Someone very, very special to you, and it's eating you apart. And you have all these people hanging around you that are just intensifying it. A bad apple will spoil an entire barrel. That's why you got to watch out for who you're around, but that's for someone. And then I have a key here, guys. I have a key. Somebody lost a home. It got foreclosed on. Someone lost a home. It got foreclosed on. It might even been a ranch. It might have been a ranch. I'm seeing wide open green spaces. A small house. It wasn't huge. It wasn't a huge house. And it wasn't even a ranch. It was just a bunch of an open field with a house and like maybe one decent sized tree. This might have been Texas or something. But no, that's what I'm getting. Somebody lost a house. It was foreclosed on. It might have been after your family passed away. I don't know if I'm speaking to the same person, but you know, and if you lose something, guys, these are worldly possessions. These are worldly possessions. See, when I was homeless, I can remember the time where I had a backpack on, right? And God said, drop that bag, drop that bag. I dropped that bag, and I had all my worldly possessions in it, but a lot something was lifted. I soon after that I got an apartment and stuff, but you know, the worldly things will weigh you down. And it's sad that it got foreclosed on if it was family passing away and you couldn't afford it or something. But just know that if you hold on to that and you allow that to eat you away, you close the door on the future to gain something like that back, to pick yourself up and become stronger so that you could acquire something like that again, something nicer, something better. But family houses, I understand that. What I'm saying is that it will suit you, it'll be healthy, it'll be solidified for decades to come. So I hope you guys got something from this, guys. I appreciate you being here. I really, really do. I know you got a lot, and there was a lot in this, but help me to grow my channel. I know you will. Who doesn't like this content, right? Anyways, subscribe, like, share, comment. Get to know me. What questions do you have? Stuff like that. What are you going through that I can help you out with? You know, something that you can't tell anybody else or you're scared to ask. Stuff like that. I might be able to help you out with. I'm here for you guys. All right. So God bless. Namaste. I'll see you guys in the next one.